There are many different approaches to healing trauma out there, but in my view, none supersedes the use of expanded states of consciousness, employing the power of your own expanded consciousness to transform your deep-seated, difficult, and sometimes traumatic memories. In fact, what is achieved nowadays in the growing and fascinating field of psychedelic therapy has a lot to do with the discovery of the effects of expanded states of consciousness. I believe that the reason psychedelics can heal is owing to their ability to effortlessly lead patients to a broadening of their mind and spirit. In my work, I developed a technique called expansion for trauma that enables individuals to reach the heights of their consciousness, to confidently return to their most difficult memories and transform their psychological contents. One obvious advantage of this process compared to that of psychedelic therapy lies in the fact that in this technique, people rely exclusively on the power of their consciousness, unaided by external substances. So let's briefly consider the so-called secret powers of expanded states. Why can they alter our psychological memories? First and foremost, expanded states are our opportunity to shatter all the familiar limits of our consciousness, including memories, and feel unbound and unaffected by time and history. This is without doubt their greatest gift, when you realize that your innermost being has never been shaped by any of these memories. You approach those difficult moments and events from your already free being. Second, the expanded state fills you with the feeling that you are strong enough to reclaim the power you lost in past experiences. In those moments and events, one of the greatest sources of pain was the sense of sheer powerlessness and lack of control. Expanded consciousness, on the other hand, is perfectly self-reliant. More than that, the happiness and freedom that flood you in expanded states are so intoxicating that there can be no grief over the temporary loss of power. Third, when your mind is sufficiently expanded, there is no room for victim consciousness. There is no longer this sense of smallness that made you so vulnerable during the traumatizing event. Your mind is now bigger than the event. Thus, your sense of self is no longer fragile, and you can heal any sense of broken or wounded self. So, when you're free from the effects of memory, time, and victim consciousness, and when you're imbued with your reclaimed power, you're finally able to return to your experience and feel it with presence. To begin with, you can agree to go through the trauma, this time consciously. it is now clear that the entire problem was that during the event you refused to enter the body and mind and to experience all that took place. Of course, this resistance makes sense as long as we experience ourselves as tiny victims. But now you're definitely capable of saying yes. The principle here is to make use of the presence you've found in the state of expanded consciousness and to pour it into the vacant body and mind. When you agree to be fully and unconditionally there, be in the body, breathe, and feel the pain, you are finally able to release the memory. The key is to stop trying to escape the experience. Resistance freezes that moment forever. Allowing the flow transforms it. In the deepest sense, without victim identity, there can be no trauma. But of course, you cannot let go of this identity unless you are firmly grounded in an expanded state of consciousness, which means that you are bigger than the situation. One of the main gifts of expanded consciousness is self-responsibility. This doesn't mean that you were not really hurt by others during the traumatic event, but it certainly means that you are now able to choose whether you want to preserve the reality of the trauma for the rest of your life. Now you have the power to liberate yourself from suffering. When your awareness is expanded, you can also finally release all those irrational conclusions and memory connections that were secretly formed in those moments or events. This is a profound purification process that only an expanded consciousness can enable. The brain alone, which is memory-based, cannot let go of these imprints, or to borrow Einstein's wise words, you cannot solve a problem with the same thinking you used when you created it. Last, expanded states make it possible for you to endow your most difficult experiences with positive meaning and purpose. Suffering is not caused by our painful experiences, but by the feeling that they were pointless. As soon as there is meaning, the traumatic experience becomes positive in the sense of meaningful. We don't need all our experiences in life to be pleasant, but we certainly need them to be meaningful. The meaning is always concerned with the way the experience has fostered the evolution of your consciousness, emotions, mind, or love. When you understand that you needed this experience, it instantly reorganizes the memory in your brain. It places the memory within a profoundly positive context among the other essential events that have helped shape your being.